Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Hey, did y'all hear about everyone's favorite angry little twerp, David Hogg, tucking his tail and backing out of a debate with Colion Noir? The ironically named scrawny little Hogg said he was interested in defending the civilian disarmament complex in a formal debate hosted by the University of Wisconsin, then unsurprisingly welched when he found out he would be going up against someone who was quite arguably the absolute most persuasive voice in the gun rights world today. Colion Noir is a bar-certified attorney for the light side and has been a champion of gun rights for years. Hogg is a kid who has an opinion. Hogg would have a better chance fist-fighting Joe Rogan than debating Colion Noir, and he knows it, which is why he backed out. It's not the first time Colion Noir has won by default either.
All right, so Colion, we actually were going to have our second guest join us. His name is DeAndre Hutchinson, and I was told that he is now joining us. He is the president of the Afro-American Police Officers League, and he obviously is in opposition of the bills. You ready, guys? Okay, so we just lost him again. Sorry, Colion, so let's continue. Okay.
People have an annoying habit of disappearing when they find out they'll have to do more than just read scripted replies to softball questions. Colion Noir, always the picture of class, doesn't want you to bully or mock Hogg for his cowardice.
Mercy is the mark of a great man. Oh! Guess I'm just a good man. Oh! Well, I'm all right.
But it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by TNVC.com, your source for good old-fashioned all-American night vision, just like Mom used to make.
Do you like seeing the boogeyman hanging out with cryptids rolling dice in your front yard? I know I do. If you want to see all the crazy things happening right outside your house, check out TNVC.com.
And by Springfield Armory. Check out our review of their new Echelon pistol with universal optic mounting solution when you're done here. Link in the doobly-doo. Florida judges seem confused about what to do with people arrested for carrying without the pleasure of the crown before their new permitless carry law went into effect on the 1st of July. Sometimes judges dismiss cases and sometimes they don't. And defense attorneys are saying it's like Russian roulette. I mean, in what bizarro world can you justify locking someone up for something which isn't even illegal anymore? For that matter, what kind of scumbag arrests a person for exercising a constitutional right, especially when they know the legislature just legalized that activity? The landmark Bruen decision was supposed to stop petty bureaucrats from using personal discretion to deny gun rights. It should have had the effect of turning every state into a shell issue state where anyone who meets certain basic criteria would have to be issued a permit. That means permit approvals should be dramatically up, but in the year since the ruling, the NYPD has actually approved fewer permits. Out of the 4,600 permit applications they received between when the Bruen decision dropped in June and the end of last year, they have approved about 10%. Contrast that with 2020 when they approved 85% of the applications they received. I'm sure it helps an awful lot to staple $100 bills to your application, and they were probably confused by the sudden lack of bribe money. But they're also not denying these applications. A staggering 99.7% of the applications submitted in the last half of 2022 are still neither approved or denied. They're just sitting on thousands of applications. The Department of Justice is handing out truckloads of your money to support red flag laws for states that don't even have them. It's all part of the Bipartisan Gun Confiscation Act passed last year. One of the central components of the legislation was funding for red flag laws, or as I prefer to call them, bury your guns in the woods laws. See, the idea goes something like this. There's this dangerous nutter out there, and everybody knows he is a clear and articulable threat to himself or others. So what we're going to do is we're going to send some armed agents of the state to his house in a potentially violent encounter to seize his property without warrant or due process. Then we're going to leave, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope we got all of his guns, confident the interaction did not push him over the edge, and sure, that does leave him access to guns he might have hidden beforehand, and sure, he can still hurt people with cars and stabby things and pool chemicals, and for that matter, black market guns, and sure, it would make a lot more sense to arrest the person if they are really a threat, but if we did it that way, it would be much harder to abuse the system against innocent people over ideological differences. In all seriousness, all red flag laws do is encourage people to hide some of their guns. If you haven't already hidden some guns away at a buddy's house or buried some in the woods, now's the time. But I'm preaching to the choir. The DOJ is handing out your money to states like West Virginia for them to assess the need for a red flag law when such a law is expressly prohibited in West Virginia. And none of the states receiving the funding are even being required to meet the due process standards which were mandated by the new Bipartisan Gun Confiscation Act. In fact, not a single state has updated their red flag laws to provide due process, yet not one of them has been denied funding for their gun confiscation schemes. So the DOJ is just straight making it rain. And now for your moment of zen.
Hey, is that more than $600?
Those level 4 plates?
Yeah, we should go.
Hey friends, do you like pews and other pew-related things? Do you want to help us keep delivering you pure American pew propaganda at the low price of free? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.